Okay, welcome to the first part of the high poly modeling. We're going to start right away with the base of the machine. So I'll select that part and detach it. Call it base, and we're going to isolate it by holding Alt and hitting the Q button. So now I'm going to connect the vertices, so there are no n-gons, only four-sided polygons, because otherwise there will be some problems in the when I add mesh smooth. Okay, so we'll delete that bottom side because we don't need it. It won't be visible. Okay, so what I'm doing here is selecting all of my top polygons, and I'm going to inset them because they have to be extruded downwards a little bit. So after I make the inset, I'm going to extrude them a little bit down so they can the shape can match the shape of the real machine. Okay, so after I'm done, I'm going to create a little border at the bottom, because there are legs that the machine is sitting on, and I want them to not be floating in space. They will be connected to that part over there that we just created. So now I'm using the connect button to make some connections, because if I apply the mesh smooth, I want the edges to be hard. I don't want edges to be that smooth. So I apply the mesh smooth. I set the power to 2 and continue adding some edges. As you can see, I add 2 edges at the 2 sides, and I move them as close as possible to the original edges. Now, as you can see in that reference picture, we're going to create those parts at the bottom that the legs are connected to. So I'm going to move that middle part to the center of the X, and delete half of the mesh. This will help us work faster, because we only need to create one side of the base. So I use a connect there, and I straighten the line by using the scale. I do another connect on the side, and now I'm going to delete the half of this half. So now we only have to make 1/4 of the base, and we'll add some symmetry modifiers, and the other sides will be created for us. Okay, so from this polygon I'm going to create the parts that hold the legs of the machine. So extrude that polygon, adjust a little bit, just to match the shape of it. Okay, so I ring select the side edges, make 2 segments, and pinch them to about 80-90%. Okay, so I have to select those edges also, ring select them, pitch that 2 edges a little bit up, and as you can see we have a little problem here. So I'm going to fix that now. I'm looking at it, thinking what I should do. Okay, so I will select all the edges on the side of that new element we just created, and I'm going to use the connect again to create only one edge and slide it. As you can see, I have some problems with the slide, so I'm going to do that manually. I switch to edge constraint. As you can see, you'll see me do that with a hotkey after that. The hotkey for switching from edge constraint to none is Shift and X. You hold Shift and hit X. You can try it. So this will help me move my edges without breaking up my topology over here. So after I move them close, I see, and as you can see, it's better, but we still have that shading problem over there, but it's because of this little rectangle triangle here. So I select the two vertices and hit weld. I'll do the same for the other side. Yeah, it still doesn't work. So I'm thinking what I should do. You're going to have problems like that, so you have to really think why is it doing this, why there's a shading problem, or the mesh doesn't look right. So I I encourage you all to take your time and think how to fix problems like that. As you can see, I made a little edge there, so it will be easier for me to fix that. So I insert the front of that part, and as you can see, it already looks better. I'm going to make another edge here, but it will mess up my mesh, so I'm going to undo that. Okay, I think it looks about right, so I guess I'm going to leave it at that. Now I'm going to create the leg for the machine. Start off with the cylinder, adjust the position just so it touches the base, and now I'm going to delete the front polygon, and here is the other method I told you that I'll be using. You can use polygon mode and extrude, inset, bevel, but I think it works better and faster if you delete the polygon you want to bevel, for instance, and then you select the side edges, and you use move, rotate, and scale to achieve the same result as using the extrude and bevel. I'm going to show you here how to do that. So I select the border where that polygon used to be, and now using the switching from select to move, as you can see, I create the bevel faster. So I do the same for the top part. You can switch from bevel to move really easily. There's a hotkeys in Max. You hit W for move, you hit E for rotate, and you hit R or R, I don't know, for scale. So here I'm selecting all the side edges and hitting ring selection. Also there's a hotkey for that, and connecting, using the connect to create two edges to straighten up, to harden up the edges. And as you can see, when I attach that part to the machine, it looks okay. Okay, so I think as you can see, I didn't cap the end for that for the legs, because we don't need that. That's a really heavy machine, so there's no way that in some moment it will be, you know, flipped, and somebody will see that there is nothing beneath the machine. So I decided to keep it that way without capping the polygons. Now I'm fixing up that side. I tried to delete those polygons, but it really doesn't work for me, so I decided that there's no point in actually doing that. I'm going to leave it like that. So I guess, yeah, there are some interesting elements on the base, that box elements over there, so I'm going to create them before I use the symmetry. So I start off with a box, position it on top of the base, and now I'm going to delete the bottom polygon. We don't need it, and again ring select the side edges and use a chamfer on them. Also connect them, you know, move that connect to the top to straighten that edge. Now I'm going to inset it a little bit. Okay, so I attached it, but I don't think that it's working fine. It doesn't really look right. So I was thinking that the chamfer was too small. I should have made it higher, you know, a higher amount. So I decided to delete it and make it again. Don't be afraid of doing things again. If you don't think that something looks right, it's better to delete it or to adjust it than to leave it at that, and after that, after you've created some of the other parts, you know, you go into the machine, you won't be very interested in going back and fixing that. So now I'm taking another approach. You know, I will not chamfer the side edges. I will use the connect to try and, okay, so I attached it, and now I'll ring select the side element edges and connect that, and I'm going to pinch the side, the two new edges, and I will look at the end result. As you can see, it looks better than the chamfered version. So I guess, yeah, I guess that's better. So I'll select that element, and I'm going to copy it, and you know, we're going to have a symmetry there, so I'm going to connect that element in the middle and delete half of it once I position it properly. Okay, so I'll delete that half, and I'm looking at my reference. There's another part at the side, so I'm adjusting it. It's not so big as the other part, so I'm adjusting that. move it to the edge and delete the half we don't need. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and add a symmetry beneath the mesh smooth modifier. That's important. And bring the threshold down, because we don't want symmetry to mess up our uh, geometry by welding vertices that are not supposed to be welded. And I've done another symmetry modifier on top of the last one. As you remember, we deleted half and then the half of the half, so we only have 1/4 of the base. Okay, so now I'm looking at my reference pictures, thinking what I should do next, and I decide to go with the middle, with the biggest part of the machine. That's the biggest part here, the middle. So I'll make a connect here. And here I notice that that part does not exist there. It's not how I created it. So I deleted those polygons. Now shift drag the edges and weld the vertices at the end, and now I have the right shape for that. And I'm going to have to adjust the back element. As you can see, it's not right at this moment. I detached that box because it has to be part of the main body, not of the elements. You will see why. So I attached it here, and switch back to the reference pic I have for this site. So I'm thinking, what should I do next? Okay, so I connected the middle part just so I can delete the half of it. We're going to use symmetry again. Okay, so what should I do next? Yeah, I'm going to do that that part at the top, some kind of rail that the other moving parts slide on. Right. Yes, I'm going to adjust the box I just created, bring it to the top just so it sits on top of the machine. Okay, so assign the standard material. I'm going to make a connect here, move it to the side. As you can see, the rails are extruded upwards, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, adjust the thickness a little bit. Okay, so I'll make a little bevel here and delete that polygon, but first I'm going to fix the edge so it goes on the 0 axis of the Y. Okay, so now I can adjust this element there. Okay, so I deleted all of the top polygons, leaving only the one that will be the rail itself. And as you can see, I did shift drag for the edge there and for the middle edge as well. I welded all the vertices, and now we have the right uh, you know, topology, and it looks like on the picture. So I'm thinking what's next. Okay, so I've detached that part again, and I'm going to make some connections here and over the main body, because I want to uh, apply a mesh smooth modifier to it, and I have to harden the edges, otherwise the everything will be very smooth, and won't look like it's supposed to be looking. So just adding some edges here and there, sliding them where they should be. Okay, so I apply the mesh smooth, and as you can see there are some problems, but we're going to fix that. We need an edge here, only one segment, and move it up, and another edge here and move it to the right. Okay, so as you can see it looks better, but the smoothing is not right. I'm wondering why. So I've made another connection here and bring it down, so now everything looks fine. Okay, I noticed that this part is actually detached from the body, so I'm going to detach it. Yeah, first of all I'm going to harden that top edge. Yeah, it looks better. So now go to polygon mode, and I'm going to select that part and hit grow, just so I select everything, and detach it from the main body. We actually need it as an element, so I attached it back up, but I'm not going to weld the vertices back. Adjust it with the scale. Something very important you should have in mind, you should never scale an object in object mode. You have to go to editable poly or editable mesh, and scale it as an element, because if you scale it on the object level, you're going to have some serious problems later on, especially if you try to animate the object, or link it to another object. You have some problems there. So I select those side edges there, because I need to have some border inside, just so you don't see the inner part, which doesn't exist actually. Yes, we have to to create such uh, a border inside. I'm going to adjust it a little bit, and again I have to okay, so that's better. So I'm going to move that edge loop up, and looking at the mesh smooth results, I can see how much that affects uh, the side edge. It looks soft and smoother over there. We need it to be smoother, so I'm moving those edge loops down while I'm looking at the results, the end results. So we have a little problem here. We have to make another connect. Those edges, select them, and move the new edge loop up, and as you can see, that looks better. So we're back at the front part here, and now I'm looking at the reference. Okay, I have to make another connect here. Ring select those edges beneath the side element and bring that edge loop up. Now, as you can see, when you have an edge that it's smooth and you need to harden it, you have basically to create another edge loop on all of the sides, and also don't let me give you some advice. Many people use chamfer to harden their edges, but basically chamfer creates more problems than it solves. So you have to use chamfer only in certain instances. uh, it's not the best way to harden your edge. Believe me, I used to do that, and you know since I'm using this way with the edges, with the connects, I realized that that chamfer was a mistake. So I'm continuing here. I'm going to make a few connects because I need to delete that part here, as you probably saw on the reference. And again, I shift drag those edges and weld the vertices at the end. That's very important, don't forget to weld the vertices. And yeah, I've created that part. I'm thinking, do I need that side element, that side polygon? you know uh, I'll connect the edges so I can harden uh, my part over here, and I think that's better. So I decided that I should you know uh, use that polygon. I only need to connect those. Yeah, that's a nasty problem in True Studio Max. I hate when this happens. You have to basically cut uh, for little sections and then connect everything together, because if you try to drag all the way to the other side, sometimes Max does this problem, as you've seen here. Okay, so I think this part looks okay. I've decided to go I look at different references. Sometimes I create a part and then move on the other side and then go back, just so I don't lose interest. Sometimes when you're modeling something and it's kind of boring, it's a boring job sometimes. You It's easier to lose your interest. So what I do, I create some parts, then I go to the back, see if I have something interesting there, create that, or you know uh, then I go back. That's how I keep my interest in some of the boring jobs. Okay, so I'm going to create that hole with the handles. I'm not going to create the handles right now, but I'm going to create that hole that you see in there. Okay, so here you can use the chamfer. I use the chamfer to split the edge in half, mm, in two. So I can use the newly created polygon and create the hole from it, as you can see here. So I shift drag. I always say shift select when I have to select to say shift drag. So don't mind me. I do that. Um, okay, so I'm going to harden the edges a little bit. Also beneath the hole. I need an edge here and an edge over there. So also to the side. I think you've got it by now. What's the whole purpose of connecting edges like that? So okay, I need to fix it a little bit. I scale only on the z-axis, because if I scale on the y-axis I'll have to bring the vertices back to the zero, as I'm going to use symmetry on that. Move that, and again shift drag and weld the vertices. Okay, so take a look how it's looking with the mesh smooth. Paste the symmetry just so I can see the two sides together, and I guess that's not sitting on the zero of the y. Yeah, now it's okay. Okay, so I think that my edges need to be uh, softer. They're they're too hard now, so I'm going to move those edges again. Bring that to the middle, delete the other one. Yeah, that starts to look better, but it's still not round enough. I'm going to harden the inner edge, and I guess my hole is too big, so I'm going to select those vertices and bring everything back. Also these one. You can see when I move those vertices how it affects my smoothing, how the edges become smoother. That's the whole point of doing that. Okay, move that a bit inwards, and I've selected all those polygons and I'll bring them back. Okay, so that looks better already. Okay, so I'm going to move my symmetry beneath my mesh smooth. Also, you should know that for this particular project, we don't need to be 100% accurate with what we see. It's more of an art project, so don't be afraid to change some things, or um, you know uh, if something looks better in a certain way, don't be afraid to uh, you know to make it like that. uh, that's just a personal project, so we don't have someone telling us that something, it has to be this way or the other way. So you'll see that on some occasions I change parts just so I think they look better the way I create them. Okay, so here I'm just fixing up the geometry a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better. I move those edges just so I can keep the you know ratio between them roughly the same. I don't want them to be stacked together, as that will give me some problems with my mesh and with my shading. Okay, so I'm thinking what I should do next. No, don't forget to save the project, of course. Mm, Going through my reference again. Okay, I've noticed this motor over here sitting on an interesting part. So I'm going to create that. That's sitting on my base, the base of the machine, and I haven't created that, so I'm going to do that now. Yeah, first of all, I think I need to move the back side, because it doesn't look right. Okay, I think that's better. So now I'm going to create that part over there. Start off with a box, roughly the same size as you see on the picture, and I'm going to bring that that vertices back. Adjust the position. I think it looks big now, so I'm going to make it smaller and adjust the thickness of this part. Okay, so I'm going to make a connect here to harden the edges. Do the same on the side and on the top. Now I have to create another element, So I shift drag, I select the element and shift drag it, and we have to do the same for the top part. I can use the same element, just uh, drag it to the top, and now I'm going to adjust it like that. There's some problems here. I'm going to bring that back, select those vertices, and using the scale, I make them straight, like that, and I can do the same here. Okay, drag them back where they were, position that box, and scale it a little bit. It's not that big. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to collapse my symmetry for the base, because I need to attach that part to the base, but if I attach it without collapsing my symmetry, this part will go on the other side also, and we don't need that, since it's only here. So okay, I'm going to continue. I'm looking at my reference here, seeing if I did it right. Right now I think it has to go down, and to the side a little bit. I guess I didn't know that it has to go down just yet, but I'm going to do that. And I'm thinking, I don't see anywhere on my reference pictures how this part is connected to the main body, so to the base. So I'm going to improvise and create a connection part that I think will be okay. That's something that's not on the reference pictures. So that's what I was talking about. You can always do stuff like that if you think that something looks better, and don't be afraid to create that. As you can see, I left only the side two polygons. I'm going to add a shell modifier, and shell modifier sometimes creates problems, so I'm going to fix that, straighten those edges, and use connect to harden the edges, because I'm going to attach that to my base, and therefore it will use the mesh smooth modifier. Okay, so connect those side edges. Okay, now I'm going to make a copy of that element and drag it to the side. My microphone keeps falling, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to create the bolt, that is used to keep the two parts together. I'm going to start with a cylinder with 6 sides. Insert that part, that back polygon, and extrude it. Now I'm going to delete it since we don't need it. Use the connect tool. No, I'm going to chamfer those edges because I need them to stay, 6 sides. As you probably know, boats like this one have 6 sides, and I need to keep them that way. So now I use the cut tool, Alt and C. That's my hotkey, and I guess that's the hotkey in every 3 Studio Max. To connect those vertices, just so there are no 3-sided or 5-sided polygons. Okay, I use the target weld, Alt and Q again. I'm going to tell you some of the hotkeys I use because it will be easier, for you if you learn how to use them. Okay, so now I'm going to make the connections, attach that bolt and slide it to its place. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to select it again, select those polygons. Yeah, I was thinking something, but I won't do it. I think that looks fine. So I'll select that bolt and shift drag it to the side, position it on place, and then I'm going to select both of them and move them back to the other side. Okay, like that. I think that looks okay. Okay, so what should we do next? I'm thinking I should go ahead and create that box element over there. Okay, so I'm just making a connect here. Okay, so I use the I'll create a cylinder here to create that hole. I'm going to use that cylinder to help me to cut the hole. As you can see, there are 6 sides to that cylinder here. I'm supposed to make it 8 sides, but I'm not realizing right now that I've made a mistake. So I'll show you if you do make such a mistake. I'll show you how to fix it. So at this point I still don't realize that I've made a mistake, and I'll have problems with my mesh after that. Okay, so I create two edge loops here, and I'm going to connect those vertices. Okay, so I target well those vertices, but uh, and yeah, you can see that it's not a circle, it's more of an you know, not circular. And I'm going to try and fix that, but you know, as I told you, I was supposed to create a 8-sided cylinder. So now I'm going to try and fix my mistake. I'm thinking, how do I fix that? Okay, so I'm going to select that edge over there, you know, and delete it. Hold Control and delete it. And now, as you can see, it's easier to fix that because I have roughly the same space between all of my edges. Okay, so we fixed that, but just so you know, every time you have to create such a hole, and you're going to use mesh smooth after that, or turbo smooth, you know, it doesn't matter. Use 8 size for the cylinder. That will help you cut your main mesh. That's important, so remember that. Okay, so I do a little connections here. Yeah, that seems okay. Now I'm going to cut that you know, little door there, or I don't know, maybe it's some kind of maintenance door. There's some parts beneath it that people check, or maybe there's a place where the oil for the machine, you know, you can go there and replace the oil. It really doesn't matter. So I use the connect to make up the shape, and again, here you can use a chamfer to split that edge in half, and we have the polygon we need right here. I've deleted it. Select the edges, but as you can see, it's not positioned properly, so I'm going to move it to the side. You know, it's not behind that side element. So I'll fix that up a little bit. Select those edges and bring them vertices and bring them to the side. Now I can go ahead and select the border edges and make a shift drag. You know, you can see that I do a little shift drag, you know, and then the bigger one. The reason for doing that is because after that it will be harder for me um, to go ahead and select those edges, to ring select them and to use the connect tool. So I do this manually, and now I have to harden the edges. I'll ring select all of these and make two edge loops and pinch them at 97%. So this should be looking okay right now. Okay, so I detach that door as an element just so I can run some connects on it, and as you see I'm going to create that hole over there. So again, I create the two edges that that will help me center my cylinder. Yeah, as you can see that 4 polygons at the middle there will be my hole. So I'm create a cylinder, but you know, this time I'm going to make 8 faces, 8 sides. Yeah, it should be looking like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut my main mesh like that. Yeah, that's more like it. And connect those side vertices. As you can see, everything there is in quads for sided polygons. Just the vertices a little bit, just so they sit where they're supposed to sit. And now I can select the border edges and shift drag, scale that a little bit, and you know, you've seen me do that already. I won't describe it every time. Okay, now that's more like it. That's the right way for creating a hole in your geometry. Yeah, the only thing is that I don't actually need to close the hole, so I'll delete the polygons I just created. I've selected the side edges. Control and clicking on the polygon converts my selection to a polygon selection, and I drag that back. That's better. So turn on my symmetry and mesh smooth. Yeah, I think that this looks better. I only need to create one more edge loop over here that runs to the side, slide it as close as possible, and that should do it. Yeah, that looks great. So I'm looking at my part from all angles, so I can see what I should do next. Yeah, I'm going to move to that box element at the right end, isolate those parts and attach the rail, but as you can see I forgot to harden the edges, so I'm going to do that. Okay, I need to go over the model, harden all the edges. Okay, so now we'll move to that box. First of all, I need to adjust the shape. Yeah, I attached the box, and now I'm going to I tried to detach those cylinders, but I seem to not notice that the detached element is selected. I fixed it up now. Bring that polygon to the back. And we're going to start and adjust the shape. So as you can see, I do the connects while I'm looking at the end result of the mesh smooth. Sometimes that really helps, like right now. Yeah, you can see how much you ideally need to um, harden your edges, and you can easily fix that while you're looking at the end result of the mesh smooth. Okay, I think that looks okay. So I've noticed that there's a little cap at the end of my box with some bolts on it, so I'm going to create that by detaching this front part as an element, and after that I'm going to adjust the position of the edges, because that front cap is a little bit more rounded than the body of this box. And okay, so now I'm going to create an inner part, just so you don't look through the mesh. Yeah, that's better, but I need to move that a little bit. They're not so close together, and I need to create that inner part for the cap as well. And as you can see, we need to harden those side edges. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so now I'm going to create the bolts, the holes for the bolts in my mesh, at my cap mesh. So I connect those middle edges, and I also run another connect here, and as you can see, those 4 polygons at each end will help me create my hole. So I turn off my mesh smooth, because it's easier to to find the right edge when mesh smooth is not on. Yeah, I've created the 8-sided cylinder, and now I'm going to cut my mesh, but first position it properly. Okay, so now cut your main mesh exactly on the border of the cylinder, just like that. And don't forget to connect that vertex, because if you don't, you have 5-sided polygon, and this would definitely make your mesh, with some problems, shading problems and mesh smooth problems. Okay, so now I'll create the hole. Yeah, that looks right. I only need to make another connection and slide it as close as possible to the hole, just so it hardens the edge. Yeah, that's looking great. I'm going to isolate only that part of the box. Now I'm going to delete the other sides, because I actually don't have to create the holes again. All I do is copy that part and mirror it on the x-axis, position it properly, weld the vertices together in the middle, like that. You can use the hotkey for weld, which is Alt and W. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Only this time I'm going to copy it as an element, since the two parts are symmetrical. There won't be any problems. And again, weld the vertices together. Be careful not to weld more than you have to, like I did before. And okay, go ahead, weld them all together. Okay, so now when we apply the mesh smooth, everything looks okay. So I'm going to unhide my geometry, but I need to go to element or polygon mode. Yeah, like that. So we've created the holes for the boats, but we haven't actually made the boats. At first I was thinking of creating the boats again. So I started with a cylinder, scale that, bring that back and connect that. Actually I am going to create the boat again, because this boat is different from the one we used in the bottom base mesh, because this one needs to have 10 sides in order to create that hole in the middle. Okay, so I have to sharpen the edges and attach it. It doesn't look quite right yet, but we're going to fix that. First of all, we don't need that side edge. Also, we have to connect those vertices together. Yeah. As I told you, Max sometimes does that. You can see that as I go close, I go into my geometry, and that really is making hard for me to work. So I'm going to show you how to fix that, but later. I guess I still don't realize that that's bugging me. So yeah, that's looking better already. I'm going to have to run another edge loop here. Yeah, at first I was thinking of chamfering those edges, but then I realized that that's actually a 10-sided cylinder. So yeah, as you can see, it doesn't look right. I went back. Yeah, I guess I leave it at that for now. Yeah, I've actually hit the undo button. As you can see, they are not the chamfer we did. We undid that, and I also rotated the bolts different ways, just so it looks random. The all the bolts are not uh, screwed on the same place, and rotating them really brings your model to look more realistic. And another thing, right now I'm realizing that I need to collapse my symmetry and delete that part at the other end, because it doesn't exist over there. And now I'm going to close that hole over there. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to select those edges and shift drag them to the front. Not forgetting to weld the vertices at the end, of course. Again, shift drag. And all I have to do now is repeat that step for the side edges right here and drag it to the end. It's important not to miss any of the edge loops or the welds, because you have some nasty problems after that can be really hard to fix. So don't forget to weld everything together. Okay, that looks okay, as you can see. Okay, now I'm going to create that circular part at the top of the box we just created. Again, starting off with the cylinder with 8 sides. Just the radius a little bit, bring it to the top of the part, and use the cut tool to cut our main mesh. Yep, cutting here. Adjust that vertices to sit on the cylinder. Yeah, that looks right. And of course we have to connect the side vertices, just so we don't have a 5-sided polygon. We don't need the cylinder anymore, delete it, delete the vertex in the middle, and now select the border, and we'll do a series of shift drags and scaling, as you can see here. Okay, I tried to create the part as close as possible to the real thing. Drag that up, and we have to finish it off. Like that. Make a connection here and bring it up. Yeah, I think that's looking okay. We only need to make one more connection of those side edges. Yeah, like that. So yeah, everything's looking okay. Now we're going to move to the side cylindrical part over there. I'm going to use that cylinder over there. First I have to detach it, of course. Okay, adjust the pivot to be in the center of my object. Move it up, and now we're going to adjust it and do the same that we did with that part at the top. I'll delete the inner polygon, delete the front polygon, and I'll select the border edges and start matching the shape of this element in the front. Oh, it goes like that. We'll bring it back, scale it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's looking fine. Connect that, make the connections we need to sharpen to harden the edges. Yeah, I think that's looking fine. I'm going to connect those vertices just so I don't have any hang-ons over there. Okay, so now we have to create the holes for the bolts. I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, we have 4 bolts here. Another thing that I forgot is that I had to create a new cylinder for this part because I needed 10 side segments. This one has 18, and it won't be perfectly centered, but we'll make it work. I'll show you how. We'll create the first hole right here for the bolt. Some people like to use boolean and stuff like that, but I urge you not to do that. Don't use boolean like never because it creates some unbelievably ugly and awful geometry that it takes so much time to fix. It's not worth using it at the first place. So always create your holes like I'm doing right now. With a cylinder, with a box, it doesn't matter. Don't use boolean. Okay, again, delete that vertex in the middle, delete that cylinder, like that. Okay, so now you've already seen me do that many times. I'll create a hole. Okay, so now I'm going to delete those polygons you see and copy the polygons of the that already have a hole in them, and this will be, you know, faster than cutting everything again. So, you know, I adjust it, I rotate it a little bit, put it on the right place, and then all we have to do is weld the vertices, and we have our hole, you know, ready. And it really didn't take that much time. So that's a nice trick you can use. I'll do the same for the remaining two holes over there. Yeah, weld the vertices like that, and we'll do all this one last time for the remaining hole. So yeah, we do that, weld here, and at the end, yeah. Okay, so we've created those parts, and this will be all for this part of the video. We've just created our first high poly elements, and we're going to continue doing so in the next part. So see you then, guys. Bye bye.